Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Love, Light, and Life Affirmed, your daily affirmations for self love and growth. Hi, my collective. Welcome back into the channel, you guys. So, this is going to be a message for my divine masculines. And as usual, even though I am going to be focusing on checking in with my divine masculines, divine feminines, you guys are always welcome to listen in as well, or any cross watchers, okay? There's always lessons for everybody in my messages. All right. Beautiful. I hope you guys have been doing well. I've missed you guys. I took a break for a few days, but I'm coming back because I'm ready to give you guys some more motivation, check in, and see how your lives are going, see what messages of encouragement and wisdom you guys need at this time, and hopefully it's helpful to you. Welcome back, all of my current followers and subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being back here with me. Thank you for all of your love and support to the channel. Thank you for all of your support of the Etsy shop. It's greatly appreciated. For anybody who hasn't had a chance to check it out, the information is in my description box. All of the incoming followers and subscribers, welcome to the fam bam, you guys. Welcome to the Soul Tribe. Once you hit that notification bell, make sure to hit the all so that you don't miss any of my messages when I post them for you. Okay. So, divine masculine. So, I am going to give you your truth oracle messages today. I am also going to get you some characteristics. I'm also going to give you some astro oracle as well, and then also your healing oracle at the very end. So, I'm excited. Let's see what's going on with you guys. All right. What's going on with my divine masculines at this time? Okay. First message out. Resolution. Beautiful. Whatever it is that you've been struggling with is about to be resolved. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. Beautiful. So, a lot of you guys have been dealing with something major or minor in your life, but either way, it seems like you are coming to conclusions regarding these matters. You are definitely finding the way forward after struggling with, you know, these situations for a bit, it seems. And I think that you have been pleasantly surprised or just surprised, excuse me, by what the actual solution to these problems are. I think that you were set in this one particular mindset thinking that you kind of knew how things were going to pan out, what direction you were going to be going. But I think a lot of you guys have been actually truly surprised by what direction you're actually going in. And like I said, a lot of you actually pleasantly surprised because I don't think it was something you were expecting. So that's very interesting. Okay. Well, what else? Well, that's good. Very good, divine masculines. I mean, coming to conclusions, having direction, it feels good, you know? It feels good to kind of know what's coming next. It's probably after thinking about it for a very long time because, I know my divine masculines, you guys are very logical, right? And maybe you're surprised by some of these um, solutions because I feel like it has a lot to do with your emotions. And maybe you guys are surprised by that because, like I said, most of my divine masculines, you are always trying to use logic before emotions when you make major decisions. But I think that you're finding that it had to be a combination of both. So that's good. That means that you are also coming into balance. Okay, then we have listen. You're being asked to listen to your inner voice. It's been guiding you to do something or say something, and it's time to act on its wisdom. Yeah, I think that now that you guys have figured out dogs, wolves, maybe these are your spirit animals because these seem to be very significant, and just these two, messages here as well. I just noticed that for my divine masculines. Maybe some of you have animals, animal lovers, have dogs that are very loyal to you, that you are very connected with. But it's asking you to listen to that inner voice, and it's time to really say what you need to say in this situation where you've now figured out the direction you're going in, and basically start to act on it. It's definitely time to start moving forward, in the situation that you're in right now. And yeah, it's time to just do what you need to do. And I think you're ready, especially with this resolution card here. I think that you are truly ready. And like I said, I feel like you're truly listening to not just your logic here. I think you're also listening to your emotions. And so you're surprised by the choice that you're going to be making here. But it's time to literally speak out, speak your truth on it. You have enough information and you know what direction you want to go in. So take charge. You're taking a back seat in a relationship or situation, and it may end up costing you time, money, or opportunity. You need to step up and regain control once again. Yeah. So, taking that action, right? Acting on that wisdom, because I feel like it's wasted a lot of time and energy thus far, maybe money as well. If this is a relationship situation, maybe you have decided that going through a separation or going through a divorce is the best solution. Even though usually when you deal with those situations with, breakups or divorces, right, there's going to be money loss, especially if there were assets shared between two people, right? And I feel like you already feel it's cost you so much, just staying in this situation or relationship for as long as you have, so I think that you're ready to really just resolve it, and you realize it's going to cost more time, it's going to cost maybe some more money, and you've probably missed out on opportunities, that you wish you could have taken in the past, whether that was job opportunities, whether that was, other relationship opportunities, because you were in this particular situation. So you're definitely looking for resolve here. Okay. Our next one that came out is shame. You've carried this burden for too long. It's time to release the guilt you've placed on yourself and start a new chapter in your life. Set a new goal and begin taking action toward happiness. Yeah, exactly. I think that that is kind of the conclusion, the resolve that you came up with, when you were really contemplating everything about this particular situation, job or relationship. You realized that you were carrying this burden and this guilt. And I think you were manipulated to carry this burden and guilt and shame by the other parties involved, by constantly being reminded maybe of some mistakes that you've made in the past, some not so good decisions, things that you've done that maybe even you regret. And it's okay to reflect and be accountable for the actions that we've taken in the past. It's okay to reflect on those actions, because that is how we figure out the wisdom, the lessons, right? How to not repeat those same patterns, by taking a look at them, not by avoiding it, not by ignoring it. However, you do have sometimes people in your life who will basically drill it into your brain and constantly remind you of those mistakes, of those past bad decisions that you made, in an effort to keep you in this place of feeling shame, of feeling like you're obligated now to stay with them forever and make it up to them for the rest of your life. Yeah, no. So at this point, you are deciding to not carry that burden anymore of shame, of guilt. Basically, you've realized, looking at both your emotions and your logic, right? You found balance and you're realizing that it is time to start a new chapter somewhere else in a new relationship, or just basically single and regrouping by yourself, healing with yourself. That's always recommended before starting any type of new relationship as well, or jumping in, into anything new that is very serious. Make sure that you are healing and you're addressing your own emotions, your own traumas, your own insecurities, things like that. But yeah, I feel like you realize it's time to take action and move towards happiness. And I feel like you have gratitude for that. I feel like you feel truly grateful for being able to truly be able to decide what to do next. Because again, I feel like this has been a burden on you for a very long time. That's been heavy on your shoulders, heavy on your mind. And you try to keep your emotions out of it, but you realize that you had to feel through this as well. There's always something to be grateful for, even in the darkest of situations. Now is the time to recognize what is going well in your life and what you are thankful for. Yes. Yes. I feel like you are looking at your life a little bit differently. I feel like for a group of you guys, there's probably years, a lot of years where you woke up every single day thinking, well, here's my life, um, not feeling like there was a way out of this cycle that you were in, feeling like you were stuck in this same situation that didn't bring anything different on a day to day basis. It didn't bring any excitement. Maybe there was, some misery, some sadness, some resentment, in your day to day comings and goings. And even though you absolutely love the thought and idea of having family or being a family man, being a husband, right? Being a boyfriend, being a partner, you just realized that it wasn't fulfilling in the way that it needed to be. Maybe you were not connected to the right person that you needed to be. You didn't have the right partner, the right support. You weren't feeling appreciated, but you were still showing up. You were still showing up because you have shared assets, you have kids, you have obligations that you were not willing to walk away from, but you realized that again there was no true fulfillment for you in it. And so I feel like at this time, now that you've made this decision to move forward, I feel like there is this level of gratitude that you feel and you're so excited about it. And you should be. There's always things in life that are not going to be perfect, right? And sometimes we end up in situations we don't know how we got there. We're trying to figure out, how did my life turn into this, that type of thing, right? A lot of times it stems from trying to please our family, our friends, and there's a lack of pleasing ourselves involved, you know. Especially when you get married, you have kids, a lot of the times people lose their individuality, right? Within that dynamic, they become a family man. So it means that your label is now, dad, father, soccer dad, basketball dad, football dad, you know, you basically have these roles that people place on you, but you forget who you are, what you love. You don't have time to focus on those individual things that make you you, that you desire, that bring you inner peace and inner joy. Even though you absolutely adore watching your kids play sports and you love being their support system and you love supporting your spouse, when you're in a good situation of a marriage and have a good partner, but you still sometimes forget who you are as an individual. And it's always a good reminder that it's okay to still have things that matter to you. Okay. Our next one out, scattered energy. You have too much on your plate and have lost your focus. This is causing you to feel exhausted and overwhelmed. Prioritize your well being and create a new plan. Yeah. I think in this particular message here, if this is pertaining to someone deciding to walk away from a relationship, I feel like you are tired of feeling scattered. And I think in this trying to find a resolution, there was so much chaos, there was so much going on, day in and day out, because if you were not getting along with your spouse or your partner, there was probably a lot of arguments, a lot of tension, but you still, again, had obligations to everybody, that you still had to try to deal with, accomplish, and so I feel that there was a lot of weight on your shoulder, a lot of things that were mentally exhausting, not just physically. And I think sometimes people forget that when there's a lot of chaos in your life, where there's no peace, there's no time to be quiet, there's no time to regroup, there's no time to just sit by yourself and just think, it is literally mentally exhausting, which also affects you in the physical. And so, yeah, I think you're done with the scattered energy. I think you're tired of it. What else is going on with my divine masculines? What are the messages for my divine masculines? Okay. Expand. You're being asked to expand. You live in a huge world with endless possibilities, and staying safe in the known is no longer working for you. It's time to make your world just a little bit bigger. It's time to imagine the possibilities and go for them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Again, I feel like you are tired of just having these particular labels that people have given you in this dynamic, but you've lost your individuality. You've lost, again, your own desire. What goals do you want for yourself? Who do you want to be other than the breadwinner, the husband, the boyfriend, you know, dad? What other role do you want for yourself? What other purpose do you feel your heart is missing? It's time to expand and find that. And then we have Soul's Whisper. Yeah, your soul is whispering its deepest desires and truths to you. In the quiet moments, listen closely. It's guiding you toward your authentic path. Exactly, exactly. You have these nudges because deep down, again, I always say we always know what we truly want to do, but not always how to get there. I think that everybody has a particular life goal. When you close your eyes and you see yourself in the most successful way, in the most happiest moments, you have this vision of what that would look like for you. Even if you feel it's not obtainable because of the type of life that you have, that you're living, the situation that you're in. So it seems impossible. But we all can see ourselves the way that we wish we could be, the way that we want to go, right? And so I think that you know exactly what direction that is. And maybe with you resolving this situation, maybe walking away from a relationship, marriage, partnership, or whatever this is that has kept you in your head, that's kept you, not focused, right? Because of maybe the constant manipulation of, feeling shameful or guilt for not always making the right decisions, the lack of appreciation. You've lost focus on your heart's true desire. And so once you make this decision and you start to act and start to resolve this situation, relationship, job, whatever this is, and start to take charge again of your life, you will start to expand. You will start to go in the direction that your soul is whispering to you. Yeah. Acceptance. You may be disappointed with a recent outcome. Remember, if one door closes, you are being redirected to one that will soon open to your true soul path. Exactly. Once you take the step, once you close this past door, yes, you will be disappointed. Because obviously, if you were in a situation with another person, a partnership, a job, if you were in this for a while, obviously your heart and soul and your emotions were attached to it. So, of course, having to close that chapter, close that door, and turn your back on it and walk away, there will be feelings of disappointment, absolutely. But where your acceptance comes from is knowing that the direction that you're going in will be now the direction towards what you truly want and desire. It's going to be going toward a direction that's truly going to bring you inner joy, inner peace. Because now that you've seen the result of this particular situation, you will now begin to choose a different path. Your choices in life will be tailored around what you've learned from this past situation, or if this is still current, because some of you guys may still be in the middle of dealing with this as well. But you will make your choices will be different in how you approach this new situation, this new path. So take that lesson, take that wisdom, and learn from it as you go forward. But in time will heal, right? The disappointed feeling. And that disappointment that you feel right now will also change once you start to see the outcome of you choosing you, of choosing something that you truly want, that truly is in alignment with you. So those feelings of disappointment will definitely go away over time. You will still look back on that situation. Of course, none, none of the people in my collective, in my divine masculine group here, none of you guys have cold hearts, right? So you truly enjoyed being a provider. You truly enjoyed being, a family man, and you still will be, but maybe not in the current dynamic that you're in. Maybe it will just be a different dynamic, but you can still show up and be that divine masculine if you have kids, you know, involved. You can still be involved in your kid's life. And, I understand that there are sometimes women in relationships after marriage who try to make that very difficult for, the men involved. It's just the reality. And yes, I'm a woman, but I'm always going to keep it real, because I've seen these situations happen with other people that I know. And it's very sad that kids sometimes are used as pawns or used as leverage, just because a relationship is no longer working. And women, we need to do better, because the only people that are affected when there's manipulation used in a divorce or separation is the children involved. And even if the kids are small and maybe they don't realize what's going on right at this moment, as the kids grow up, the kids will start to see the character of both parents. Kids are very, very smart. They're very bright. They feel energy better than adults do sometimes because there's still an innocence there. So the kids will be able to recognize a true nurturing parent versus a parent that is narcissistic or controlling or manipulative. And for people that are adults who are naive to this fact, I hope that is helpful. I hope that makes you rethink how you decide to use your children as leverage just because you are bitter or unhappy with a separation, whether you're the man doing this or the woman. But this is for my divine masculine. So this is geared towards how the divine feminines or my feminines in these situations sometimes act. And it's not okay, because kids don't deserve to be manipulated for your gain or for your pleasure or for your resentment. All right. Side note, let me get some characteristic cards, see who my divine masculines are. Some of you guys are creators. Sometimes I connect that card to my God, the most high God. So we have a creator. Creator is a weaver of imagination. You are very creative in some way. So maybe some of you guys are very artistic. You innovate. You have a very bright mind. You invent things, but this realization message. I feel like that's what's happened. Some of you guys felt like the fool in this situation, dealing with this other person. And let me tell you, that comes with that feeling of shame and guilt. But I want you to understand that nobody's perfect. We're not going to always make the right decisions. And if you got with this person, whoever this person you were with, and it was from your heart, right? It wasn't a mistake. It's just that maybe over time you guys no longer got along. You guys didn't connect anymore. You know, as you grow, sometimes you just grow apart. So never feel like a fool or that, you know, you wish you could have chosen different, because sometimes, even though we don't understand our path, sometimes we have to go through certain things to learn certain lessons to get us to where we're going, right? Who else is in my divine masculine group? Some of you guys are readers. Some of you guys love to read. You love knowledge. You pursue knowledge. You look for answers, and you just love finding out new information. I think that's amazing. Some of my men out here could be actual readers, tarot readers as well. You're very psychically in tuned. And so I feel like that's why maybe your spirit was really just saying, like, you know, that you're not happy in this situation. You guys are just not on the same page, you know, maybe spiritually. Okay. Who else? Some of you guys are civil servants out here. Beautiful. You guys work in as public officials, administrative duties, public administration. So some of you guys may be into politics as well. Okay, some of you guys own businesses, vendors. You guys are merchants and retailers. Some of you guys have your own businesses, or you just work in these industries as well. Some of you guys are couriers. You guys are bringers of knowledge, you know, messengers. I feel like that has to do with my readers too. Some of you guys, you know, deliver information. And so I feel like you have a gift. And I feel like you're starting to listen to your own advice, maybe. You know, maybe you bring knowledge and empowerment to others, but maybe in your own life, you know, you were feeling like maybe I should start kind of, you know, listening to my own advice that I give others. Okay. Yeah, some of you guys are teachers. I have doctors, beautiful healers. Some of you guys are healers. You guys are very compassionate people. Like I said, I can tell that you guys have huge hearts. And I feel like you really love taking care of your families. You love being, you know, nurturers and givers. Like I said, this seeker of knowledge. You know, I feel like right now, a lot of you guys really are focused on trying to understand who you are, trying to understand your life path, your life purpose. So you are really making progress in that side of your life. And I think you're absolutely loving it. It is really motivating you to take this action, to take this step. I think that's beautiful. Keep going, you guys. Keep going. We'll get a few more. Yeah. You guys are revolutionists. Yes. You guys, you know, are ready to find justice in this. So maybe you guys have some legal matters. Again, if you guys are dealing with a divorce type of situation, you know, there is going to be justice served in this situation. But I feel like you are ready to transform. You are ready to find that freedom of self that you've been missing for a very long time. Get on a couple more here. You know, when I see this message, you know, I feel like in this situation, maybe you guys felt like you had to disguise yourself. Maybe you felt like you had to wear a mask because maybe you felt like people wouldn't truly understand you. Maybe this is a mask that you've worn all your life that you're tired of wearing. So you're looking now for that true freedom of self. You're ready to come from behind this, you know, mask of deception. You know, you're tired of the disguise. Some of you guys were dealing with someone who was wearing a mask, and you realized into the partnership, into the relationship, that this person was not who they said they were. Maybe they had a mask on to make you feel like they were your divine partner, they were your true person. And as time went on, you started to find out that they were not that. So you are deciding it's time to roll out. Okay. All right, you guys, let me pull some zodiac signs and see who I'm connecting with here in my divine masculine group. Again, these could be your signs: sun, moon, rising, Venus, north node. It could be in your birth chart. It could be the person that you're dealing with as well. I'm just going to pull a few here. And even if your sign doesn't come out, it's okay. This could still be a message for you. But just trying to get some more specific energy here. Let's see, who else? Who am I dealing with in my divine masculine group here? Okay, I have Sagittarius, Capricorn, Scorpios, Libras, Aquarius. Okay. All right. Let me grab your healing oracle from our gods and see what God my divine masculines need to connect to at this time. What healing do you guys need to be focused on at this time as you go through this situation, as you deal with this situation? You know, I want my divine masculines in this collective part of this soul tribe, part of this channel, to know that you are seen, you are appreciated. I do realize that you also have traumas and things from your past that affect you as men as you get older, as you go through life. And I do want you to know that you are still loved and appreciated. And I do this segment for you guys because I think sometimes my men out there don't feel acknowledged enough. You guys do so much for us in our communities, in our families. You bring so much in, and I just want you to know that you are seen and you are loved. Okay, so I have two here, but let's start with the first one. We have Anubis. Anubis. Let's see. Strive toward a return to balance, but enjoy your time in the extremes. Contrast provides you with a profound enhancement of the experience. The jackal-headed god of the dead, Anubis, is an ancient Egyptian deity associated with protection, mummification, and the afterlife. His name in the original Egyptian language was Enpu, which inferred decay. He is well known for his role in the judgment of souls in the Hall of Truth. During the judgment of the dead, Anubis would place the heart of the recently deceased on the scale of justice, balancing it against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the deceased would be deemed worthy of entering the afterlife. If heavier, their soul would be devoured by the demon goddess Amut. Anubis's message to my divine masculines. Imagine the exquisite feeling of eating a burger after a week of only eating jelly because you had your wisdom tooth out. The pure bliss of sleeping in your own bed after a wild weekend of camping in the bush. The ecstasy of a hot shower after a cold walk caught out in the rain. Contrast is where life exists. Contrast deepens, stretches, and builds. Being out of balance is necessary and good for us. Returning to homeostasis is integral for the health of your system. Nevertheless, times out of balance are integral for living. So much living occurs through periods in the extremes. The most memorable moments in life tend to happen when the pendulum has swung from one side to the other. The light and shadow, the masculine and feminine, action and rest all live outside the restraints of balance. Peaceful bliss is found in the center. Although drawn out for too long, it turns from peace to stagnation. You will naturally be attuned to when your nervous system requires you to err towards equilibrium. Learn to stay in the present moment and tune in with your body, emotions, and needs. This will help you become a pro at knowing when and how to bring yourself back to harmony. Working on self worth will give you the desire to look after yourself, knowing you deserve to have your needs met. Balance can often be found through the energy opposite to that you have mostly been in. If you feel out of whack, look to the other side. If you've been doing lots of shadow work, seek more levity. If you've been resting a lot and feel a state of atrophy, return to action. If you were completely balanced in each moment, you would be bored with no growth, transformation, or experiences. Contract and expand rather than just seek equilibrium. Similar to a rubber band shooting forward after being flung backwards, you can experience benefits from times of contraction. Swing forth on the pendulum of life, enjoying the highs, the lows, the ebbs, and the flows, and recognize the areas that would benefit from finding some peace. Beautiful message. I love this. Absolutely. You know, this is a message to my divine masculines to go through life and try to ensure that your heart is as light as a feather. Make sure that your actions towards the people you love, towards yourself, allow you to move forward without guilt, without shame. You don't need to hold on to those. Those will not help you as you move forward through life. Although seeking balance is important, still enjoy life, enjoy the extremes, but also remember to come back to balance. Don't stay on one side or the other for too long. Because, like Anubis said, life can become boring. All right. And then we have Achilles. The, the letter A may be significant for some of you. Maybe your names start with A. Since both of our gods here have letters A names. Achilles, examine your relationship with vulnerability. Cultivate environments in your life that provide time, space, and safe, supportive relationships. Achilles message. Vulnerability is associated with weakness, yet exposing your tender parts takes immense strength and bravery. Social conditioning implies that it is not safe to be vulnerable or show softness. Many people have grown up hearing phrases such as, boys don't cry, or you're whipped when showing romantic affection, or stop being a girl and take a cement pill and harden up. It is no wonder men have not felt safe to be vulnerable. This deeply rooted paradigm has affected the entire population in one way or the other. Not only has this squashed much within the masculine energy, but it has sometimes denied the feminine energy connection and openness with their counterparts. It is time we break down these archaic societal conventions and work toward exhibiting our vulnerability to generate environments for others to do the same. This can be done by removing your mask. Yes, removing the mask, you guys, and being as real as possible about your feelings, needs, and thinking. It also happens by calling out how damaging it is when these antiquated sayings are verbalized. Situations will naturally arise where you become aware of the patterns keeping you from being vulnerable. Although vulnerability is a goal to strive toward, ease into it one step at a time. After a lifetime of survival and protection mode, Slowly opening to softness will help you transition into a new way of operating. Doing something before you are ready can result in you retreating and feeling even more traumatized. Awareness of the pattern and knowing you are not ready is still a monumental progression. Choosing to prioritize your safety is an act of kindness to yourself when matched with making strides towards progress as the right opportunities present themselves. These are absolutely beautiful messages for my divine masculines and so important. And this one specifically, especially with being vulnerable, I know how difficult vulnerability is for a lot of masculines because in society, your role is protector, it is provider. So we look to you for those masculine traits. But like Achilles said, there has to be a balance in vulnerability because it allows you to let in the divine feminine into your world, into your life, into your thoughts, into your feelings. That is what connects you two together. So keeping that vulnerability out of the picture, it doesn't allow the divine feminine to connect to you, to balance with you, right? Our divine feminines, most of us, it's easy for us to be vulnerable and soft, and that's how we should be, especially when it comes to you guys. As our divine masculines, we want to be soft, we want to be nurturing. However, if our nurturing is met with harshness, we feel rejected. We don't feel connected to you. So, you being vulnerable, allowing us to be vulnerable with you and accepting that vulnerability on both sides creates an amazing equilibrium. It creates an amazing connection between two, a yin and a yang that comes into balance beautifully. So, I love this message for you guys. This is confirmation that it is okay to be vulnerable. And if you're not used to it, yes, take your time. You don't have to just completely pour out everything all at one time if it's not something you're used to doing, but slowly work towards it. I love this. I love this. Beautiful message for you guys. And that's what I have for you, divine masculines. I love you guys. You guys are seen. You guys are appreciated. I hope that this message was able to bring you some food for thought. If the message did resonate, please let me know. I would love to know that I was able to connect with some of you guys in my collective. Hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, and follow me. But until next time, you guys, keep your head up, stay balanced, and open up a little bit. With so much love. Until next time, you guys. Bye.